Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the session. I hope that you're all well on this Monday morning and ready to get started on an amazing week. Before we get started this morning, I just want to remind everyone of the importance of buying local and the impact that this has on creating jobs, not only in our industry, but in our economy and helping our economy and contributing to the security of our future. So, as Byron mentioned, my name is Mandy Keil. I'm the Chief Empowerment Officer of the UPP Group. And one of our passions at UPP is to add value and to help and empower other plumbing businesses to grow in scale, profitability, and to do this through implementing key fundamental business processes and also through leadership coaching. So in last month, I mentioned that within UPP, we implemented something called the Entrepreneurial Operating System, also known as EOS. This model implements 6 key business components that creates focus, direction, efficiencies, and profitability in any business. And if any of you have any questions about this, you're welcome to contact me after the session. So last month, I spoke about the importance of having clearly defined, documented, and consistently trained processes in your business. And there are a number of processes that every single business has. One of this is within the HR component, and it focuses on finding the right people for your business, which brings me to today's discussion, and that is on the recruitment process. So this morning, I'd like to look at this in a little bit of detail. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, so when we look at the recruitment process, and I'm not sure about the size of your business, but whether you are a small company or a large company, recruitment is something that you are going to do at some stage within your business. And when you look at any great organization, you'll find that to have a great business, to go in the right direction, you need to surround yourselves with the right people. We can go to the next slide. Okay, so what do I mean about the right people? All businesses will only ever grow if you have what we call the right people in the right seat. In other words, having the right people in the right roles in your business. But before we get to that recruitment stage, let's just step back a bit. You first need to identify, if you want to find the right people, you need to know where your business is heading, what the vision of your business is, and that needs to be clearly articulated and encapsulated within your business. If you're not sure where your business is going, then the rest of your people in your organization, in your business, no matter how big or small, will not be going in that same direction. Who are the right people, though? Simply put, the right people catch your business vision and they share your core company values. You'll see on the slide in the middle of that little circle is the word values. So all companies, if you want to be successful, you need to identify what your core company values are. So for example, within UPP, our core values are number 1, people and company first. Number 2, having a growth mindset. Number 3, being humbly confident. Number 4, being a problem solver. And number 5, being solutions driven. And we use these values to hire people, to recognize them within the business, to reward them, to do performance reviews. And yes, even if it comes to the point of having to fire someone, these values are the fundamentals that we look at and that we make these decisions on. And luckily, if you hire the right people, you won't get to the firing part. So you will need to be really clear on your company vision and values before you make the right recruitment choice. We use something called the accountability chart within our business to help us to identify the right roles and also who the right people will be for those roles. Now, this looks like, I suppose, a normal organogram or organizational chart, but where it differs is you'll see that at the top of each little block, there is the role. We call that the role or the seat. So you have a director seat, a finance seat, an operations seat, sales and marketing seat, and an office admin seat. And this could be different titles depending on the structure of your business. This is not cast in stone. You need to look at your structure and identify what those roles are. then you'll see we've got it numbered 1 to 5. Now, in our business, that would represent what the key KPIs, the key performance indicators for that role is. And everyone has a KPI, from the CEO, director, all the way through to your teams out there in the field. Everyone has their key roles that they've got to be accountable to. And this is going to help you to define, if you can just press enter, please, Byron. This is going to help you to define the requirements for every specific job function within your business. Once you've done that, you now have the criteria of what the responsibilities for that job function is, so that when you go out and you advertise for that job, you know what you are looking for. And it also helps you to go and investigate what competitive salaries are for that job function, and to define that salary or salary model for yourself. What I mean by salary model is for some roles, you might have a fixed salary model. So it's a basic salary, and that's what the person earns. For others, so if it's a sales position, for example, you might have a more commission-based structure. So you need to define all of that before you go out and start your recruitment process. So you can go to the next one. Okay, so now we get to the actual searching for someone. You've clearly defined your vision, what the values are for your business. You know what values you are looking for in an individual that you want to recruit. You know what job role in the business you are recruiting for, and you know what the key responsibilities for that role is. And that helps you to look for specific skill sets that's related to that job role. So the important thing over here is, once you've defined that, you must clearly bring that across into the way that you word your job advert. So your job advert is part of your recruitment process, and your wording that you use there is going to attract the right people to that job. So the other thing we need to be very cognizant of over here at the moment, and unfortunately because of our high unemployment rate, you will have many people applying for a job that isn't suited to their specific skills, because sadly people are really desperate at the moment. And it's a hard thing to witness when you put an advert out there and you have thousands of ads or applications coming in for that position. And this is where it's really important to use specific mediums that will help you to filter out the applicants that is not suitable for the position, and to filter in the applicants that are. And there are many different ways or different job search mediums that you can use. You could use a recruitment company. There are various online recruitment organizations that you can use, and even through social media. I love using LinkedIn for Business, because they've got very powerful filtering tools that you can use to filter out applicants. And for example, I recently went to advertise for an office operations person using those filter criteria. We received over 2,000 applications within the space of an hour through LinkedIn, but the filtering tools automatically filtered out only 20 applicants from the 2,000 that had applied. And then there's additional filtering tools that we then use specific to a job function that is being advertised. So one of the tools that we use are reference checks. Now, I know that in the order of the way that people recruit, often you go through your CVs, you shortlist people, you go through your interviews, and then before you make a final decision, you do your reference checks. We have flipped that a bit. So before we even get to our interviews, we conduct reference checks. And we find this a very powerful way of, again, just identifying, because we ask key questions to the people that we are doing reference checks with. We've got a set of questions that we're going to phone that reference that the applicant has put down there, and we're going to ask them that list of questions. And those questions also help us to identify, the answers to those questions will help us to identify that candidate's alignment of their values in terms of business values with UPP's business values, and it will do the same for yours. It will help you to identify if there's a business alignment in terms of your values with that person. So we find that doing reference checks prior to the interviews are a critical component in how you recruit. Then we go ahead and we set up the necessary interviews with our candidates. The next thing that is really important is establishing the right questions. So if you want to really get good at this, there are so many platforms and tools and websites that you can go to where it helps you to formulate the right questions, because you can have questions that are aimed at identifying if you're recruiting for salespeople, what are the key components that you need to ask, the quick questions that you need to ask for someone advertising or applying for a sales position. If you are looking for an operational person, if you're looking for a plumbing team leader. So doing your research with regards to this is critical, but included in that, we have standard values-based questions that we ask as well, because whether you are applying for a leadership position in a company or whether you are applying to be a plumber in a company or an admin person in a company, every single person, if you want your business to move in the right direction, every single person that you're recruiting, you need to check that value alignment. And that people understand when you explain your vision to them, that they understand and they grasp your vision. We have a saying in our business that if you have two visions in a business, the company's vision and everyone else's vision, two visions creates division, and that is not good for any business. So asking the right questions is a key component to the recruitment process, and we really recommend that you spend time on developing this. And if you need assistance, you're welcome to contact me and I will assist you with that. Then you have a further filtering through this. You'll have a further filtering step that is occurring because you're going to listen to those answers that applicants give you. We actually ask people in the interview if they're okay with us recording the interview, because it allows us to go back and listen to it, really listen to it and listen to the nuances and things that we might not have heard the first time we heard the answer. So we then do that. Another step that you can take, and this we only use depending again on the position that we are advertising. So if it's any key leadership position, or maybe even a sales position, or something that's very specific, we send the client, the candidates, an online strengths analysis test to complete. There are many out there. So within our organization, both Duncan, the founder, and I, we are John Maxwell certified coaches. So we use the Maxwell DISC analysis, but there are plenty of free ones that you can do online, the Gallup, Clifton Strengths, Booths, etc. And the benefit of doing this is that when you are going out there and recruiting for a specific position that requires a specific skill set, these tests will, on a very generalized basis, give you or tell you if that person has the personality for the position that you are recruiting for. So it's just another useful tool that you can utilize. Once we've done this and we've gone through the findings of that strengths analysis, we then set up what we call the final interview. And in that interview, it's typically myself or Duncan, or sometimes both of us, that conduct the final interview with the candidate. Within this interview, we are going to refer to questions or answers that they're given in earlier interviews to double check that it's consistent with their responses. And also what we do is we present what we call the speech to them. And the speech over here encompasses a talk that Duncan, the founder of the business, puts together. He had put this together, he compiled it, and it tells the candidate what our values are and what the non-negotiables are that we require in a person that is going to be joining our company. And this, I suppose, for us, this has really helped us to set the scene for any candidate coming into the business. When we give them this speech, as we call it, we can see their reaction to the speech. Some of them sit forward in their seats and they are so excited to hear about it, and they engage with it and they resonate with it. And that helps us to identify that that person has an automatic connection with everything that they've heard. If we see them sitting back and, they're a bit now concerned about whether there's an alignment with what they believe and what the company believes in, then they're not the right person for the business. The other thing that the speech does is, if they come on board, we're holding them to the fact that they agreed, that they're in alignment with everything that we speak to them within the speech. And if we find that within the first 3 months, there is a disconnection between what the experience of having them in the business compared to what we spoke about in the interview, then we've got that to refer back to as well. So that is what we do in the final interview. And then it's decision time. And you can go on to the next slide, please, Byron. So this is decision time. We then take all the candidates and we have a discussion about that. And one other step that we do in our business, and if it is possible, and we find this also very useful, is that we invite any shortlisted candidates to come and spend a day in our business. So they spend an 8-hour day with us. They sit with different people in the business, and we can see through the way they engage with our existing team. And we put a few things out there to test their value alignment, and to test their skill set that they say that they have. And it also gives them the opportunity to, at the end of the day, say that they have a connection with the business. Because our plumbing environment is very different to any other environment out there. It's fast-paced, it can be high-pressured, and what they think they're going to experience can sometimes be very different to their actual experience of being in the business. So we find that one day spending with us before we make a final decision, really helpful as well. After we have made the decision, it is then about providing that person with the offer, based on the salary model that I mentioned earlier on. And if they agree to that and they come on board, the next thing that is key to a successful onboarding of any applicant into your business is to have a set orientation program. And in this orientation program, we reinforce the company values and the vision. And often, again, Duncan as the founder and me as the Chief Empowerment Officer, we get involved in this together with other key staff members in the business. We go through all the legal stuff, the employment contract. We take them through our processes, our internal processes, operations processes, admin processes, everything that they need to know to set them up for success in a business. It's very important that this is a partnership. Okay, you don't recruit people to make them fail, because that will make your business fail. So this is foundational to setting them up to be successful within their roles, and subsequently to add value to the business. And in doing so, you're also adding value to them. So going through the contract and then the on-the-job training and the initial orientation is foundational to just finalizing and rounding off the full recruitment process. And one of the things that we believe, and it's a quote that I read in a book by Jim Collins, and the book is called From Good to Great. I really recommend it. And in there, he says, people are not your most important assets. The right people are. So we have gone through many different recruitment strategies and formats that we have found over the years. And this format is the one that has worked the best for us. It doesn't fail. Every time we implement this specific step-by-step process, we always end up finding the right people. So if you've got questions about this and you need more information on it, you're more than welcome to email me or contact me. And I'm very willing to share the tips and tricks with you. And that's it from me for today. So at UPP, we're all about unlocking people's potential within our businesses and helping other plumbing businesses out there, because we believe that we all work together to transform our industry. And we do this by transforming, empowering, connecting, and inspiring women and men within our industry. And that's it from me for today. Just want to thank you for your attendance and your participation.